Let's be honest, Disney dining can be confusing. With over 200 restaurants across the Walt Disney World Resort, there's a lot to remember when planning your vacation. And we all know where you'll be eating is the most important part of your trip.
So that's where I come in. In the past few years, I have dined at every single restaurant on property.
From quick service to character dining and, yes, even the very fancy, very expensive spots too.
So I asked you guys over on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and here on YouTube to ask me any questions you may have about Disney food.
From my favorite restaurants to how to score those hard to find reservations, questions about the dining plan, and everything in between.
I'm sharing everything I know with you because today I'm answering your Disney dining questions. Before we get started, if you have any Disney dining questions, drop them in the comments below because who knows, there may be a part 2.
But for now, I've gathered 15 of the best questions from you guys, and I'm gonna answer them all, starting with number 1.
What restaurants do you think are underrated and overrated?
Let's go underrated first, and this is one that I talk about often on my page. I personally think the most underrated restaurant at Disney World is Flying Fish. This signature restaurant is located at the boardwalk and is always easy to find a reservation for. The prices are high, but honestly, you get what you pay for. The food here is top notch. And they aren't just serving seafood. In fact, some of the best things on the menu don't involve fish. The charred New York strip steak is a top 3 steak on Disney property for me, and the pork belly appetizer is delicious as well. But if you are into seafood, there are of course plenty of options for you here. You cannot miss the lobster bisque as a starter or the potato wrapped red snapper, which is the restaurant's signature dish and probably my favorite seafood dish on property. And I can't talk underrated without also mentioning the Victoria Falls Lounge at the Animal Kingdom Lodge. This is a lounge just off the lobby right before you get down to Boma. You don't need a reservation here, it's just first come first serve, and if we're talking great lounge food, this is the spot. The goat cheese dip is absolutely killer, and the burger here doesn't get enough hype either. But on to the overrated, where a couple of different restaurants come to mind. First, the Sci-Fi Dine-In. Yes, the theming here is great. I always say this. Sitting in the cars and watching the old school movies is really unique. However, the food here is really not good. I would rather eat a McDonald's burger if I'm being totally honest. Next, this one's pretty controversial, but California Grill. I haven't had the best meals here, and since they changed the menu to where you can't order a la carte and you must do the $89 prefix meal, it just isn't really appealing to me. The view of Magic Kingdom is nice, but personally, I would rather just sit at the bar up there where you can just order an appetizer and a couple drinks. I also think there are better signature restaurants with just as great of a fireworks view where you aren't forced to spend $89 on a meal right across the Seven Seas Lagoon. Narcoossee's, I'm looking at you. And finally, Via Napoli. I know this is a popular one and a lot of you may not agree with me, but I really am not a fan of the food here, and I've tried it all. The pizza, the pasta, it's really just not for me. If I'm craving good Italian food while in Epcot, I'm simply walking out of the park and over to the boardwalk to Trattoria El Forno.
Number 2, top monorail crawl suggestions.
Now, this is a fun one, and for those who may not know, the monorail crawl just involves taking the monorail around to the different monorail resorts, the Contemporary, the Polynesian, and the Grand Floridian. Getting off at each resort and grabbing a cocktail, a bite to eat, and just hanging out at the different resorts. This is actually a great activity to do on a day where you may not have a park ticket or a day where there's some bad weather coming in. And there are honestly so many things to do and see at these different resorts. My number 1 tip for the monorail crawl would be to not forget that the different sit-down restaurants at the resorts have bars too. A lot of people just go to the lounges such as the Enchanted Rose at the Grand Floridian or the Steakhouse 71 Lounge at the Contemporary, which are both great. But Citrico's at the Grand Floridian as well as Narcoossee's have first come first serve bar areas where you can order the entire food and drink menu. And I could tell you, the food and drinks at both of these restaurants are phenomenal. Another spot that is great to consider is one I mentioned in question number 1, the California Grill Bar, where you can order a la carte. As for my personal must orders on a monorail bar crawl, I would definitely stop at the Tambu Lounge at the Polynesian for some pot stickers, noodles, and a lapu lapu, then Enchanted Rose for a lavender fog, as well as Narcoossee's for their amazing espresso espresso martinis at the Grand Flow. Then I'd make my way over to the Contemporary at Steakhouse 71 to sit at the bar for a stack burger and a French 71.
Number 3. Do you think the dining plan is worth it when staying at Disney?
The short answer to this question is absolutely not. But let me explain why. Disney preaches convenience and flexibility as the main reason you should purchase the dining plan, but I think purchasing this add-on does the exact opposite. It's about $100 per day for one adult to purchase the standard Disney dining plan with one table service meal, one quick service meal, and one snack per day. Now, if I bought that for my vacation, the number one thing on my mind would be trying to maximize that and trying to beat the dining plan. Does that sound relaxing to you? Because it doesn't to me. I would be planning my meals out based on what is most expensive just so I could get my money's worth instead of just ordering what I actually want to eat. And the only real way to hit that $100 mark every day is by using your table service credits at character dining meals. Those are really where you're going to see the most value. So if you're okay with over-planning your trip, by all means, but I think you will end up saving way more money and stress if you do not buy the dining plan.
Number 4. Would you eat a real meal at a monorail resort before Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party?
This is a great question, and as someone who has been to every holiday party for the past 4 years, I can tell you there really aren't many full meal options at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas party, and the specialty meals they do have, they're usually not that great. So yes, I highly recommend hitting a monorail resort before heading into Magic Kingdom on your party night. Steakhouse 71 at the Contemporary or Wailulu at the Polynesian would be my picks for a great casual meal beforehand. This also gives you more time to enjoy the party and catch all of the entertainment, which I think is the best part of these special ticketed events. Hit a couple snacks while you're walking around, but party time is precious. I wouldn't want to sit down for a full meal.
Number 5. What are good restaurants to DoorDash to your hotel from, especially late at night?
Okay, I love this question, and I've been living by the theme parks for quite a while, so I definitely have some suggestions here. There are plenty of chain restaurants that you'll find will be able to deliver to your hotel, but if you're looking for some good local spots, I've got you. First, for some late night sushi or Asian food, hit up Sakiba. This has been my go-to spot for the best affordable sushi for years. The quality for the price is insane. There are 3 locations all by the same owner on West Erlo Bronson in Kissimmee, and they're open late. I'm talking like midnight, 1 a.m. And they're also on all delivery apps. For some killer late night tacos, Tacos Padrissimo is your spot. They have a food truck as well as a new storefront, also both on West Erlo Bronson. I love the carne asada and al pastor tacos, and don't forget to load up on their red and green salsas. Also open late night and available for delivery. I know this question specifically asked for late night delivery spots, but I have to mention an early morning breakfast delivery as well. I'm from New Jersey, and I'm a tough critic when it comes to bagels, but Stuff a Bagel in Windermere is as real as they come. Their bagel sandwiches are great as well, so if you're sick of Mickey waffles and need a breakfast delivery, check out Stuff a Bagel in Windermere.
Number 6. Best restaurant in each park.
We're back in the parks for this one, and let's start in Magic Kingdom. With no hesitation, the answer is Liberty Tree Tavern. Here you'll find a Thanksgiving feast 365 days a year. This meal is served family style, and honestly, I love everything on this menu, from appetizers to entrees to sides to dessert. And speaking of dessert, definitely make sure you save room for it because the ooey gooey toffee cake is worth the visit alone. In Epcot, I've got to go with Le Cellier, the steakhouse in Canada. This restaurant can be very hit or miss, but when it's on, it's on. I love the ribeye here, and you can't go wrong with the cheddar cheese soup. Heading over to Hollywood Studios, if I had to pick one sit-down restaurant, I guess it would be the Brown Derby, but I am really not a huge fan of any of the restaurants here. I do like sitting outside at the Brown Derby Lounge and enjoying a Cobb salad though, so I guess we'll go with that. And finally, in Animal Kingdom, another easy one, Yak and Yeti. This Asian restaurant serves a wide variety of food that I absolutely love. It's become a family favorite, and one thing I must order every time I visit are the ahi tuna nachos.
Number 7. What is your favorite character dining location?
Character dining is a great way to meet characters without standing in a very long line, usually outside in the sun, although they can get very pricey. A lot of these character meals sacrifice the quality of food just because you are meeting characters. But there are a few character meals that stand out that honestly I would dine at whether characters were involved or not. First, we have Topolino's Terrace at the Riviera Resort for breakfast. It is important to note that Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Daisy are only around during breakfast and not during dinner here. But the food is honestly fantastic. They start you off with a bucket of pastries, and the steak and eggs here is amazing. This is also one of the more relaxed character dining meals. You don't really feel rushed or have a ton of kids running around your table. It is overall a very pleasant experience, whether you're bringing children or just dining with a table full of adults. Another character meal I highly recommend, where again, you won't sacrifice food quality just to meet characters, is Storybook Dining at Artist Point at the Wilderness Lodge. This is a fun one because you'll get to meet some rare characters here, including Grumpy, Dopey, Snow White, and the Evil Queen. Appetizers and desserts are brought out to share, and when it comes to entrees, the pork shank is so tender, it's a must order for me. If you're looking for more buffet style, I think 1900 Park Fair at the Grand Floridian has some pretty solid food. And you can never go wrong with a Crystal Palace breakfast reservation to meet Pooh and have some churro Mickey waffles.
Number 8. Have you ever dealt with the process of dining when it comes to food allergies?
With millions of guests every year, the Walt Disney World Resort is no stranger to dealing with guests with food allergies. And while I may not have any allergies myself, plenty of my friends who I dine with frequently do, so I've gotten to know the process quite well. And I will say, Disney is very good with allergies. My friends often say they prefer to go out to eat at Disney rather than anywhere else because they feel a lot safer doing so. When you check in for your dining reservation and when you sit down at your table, inform the cast members of your allergy and they should handle everything from there. They may ask if you want a chef to come out to your table to speak with you, and they'll hand you an allergy menu that'll tell you what is safe for you to order. Any food that is allergy friendly is always marked with a purple pick, so if you do have an allergy, always make sure you're only eating food with a purple pick. Same goes for quick service dining. Your food will always be marked with a purple pick, and you can actually order directly on the My Disney Experience app if mobile ordering is available at the location. Just scroll all the way down on the menu, you'll see the allergy options there. If not, same process, just speak to the cast member and they'll guide you or direct you to someone who can help.
Number 9. Are you able to dine at the restaurants inside the resorts if you are not a resort guest?
The resorts around Disney World have some of the best restaurants, and it would be a shame if they limited who could dine at them to only those who are staying at the resort. Anyone can dine at any of the resort restaurants regardless of if you're staying there or not. And I highly recommend you check some of them out because, like I said, this is where you'll find a majority of the best restaurants. Where this can get a little tricky is with transportation. If the restaurant takes reservations and you have a reservation as well as a car, you are able to park at that resort. You'll just give security your name and ID at the gate and they'll direct you to the parking lot. If you do not have a car and are relying on Disney transportation, getting to the different resorts for dining can be difficult. You'll have to map out the best way using transportation, which is pretty easy when dining at the monorail resorts because you can just take a bus from your resort to Magic Kingdom and hop on the monorail. But it can get a little bit trickier or time consuming when traveling elsewhere. It is doable though, but just give yourself enough time.
Number 10. If you have the dining plan, what is the best restaurant to get your money's worth?
We touched on the dining plan a little earlier and how I don't think it's worth it, but if you are getting the dining plan, there are some restaurants that are a bit more expensive and only one table service credit that I would consider booking. First one being Chef Mickey's. Now, the only way I would ever recommend going to Chef Mickey's is if you are on the dining plan. This restaurant is chaotic, and the food isn't the best, but it is expensive at $69 per adult and $44 per child for dinner, so it will be a great value to use a table service dining credit on. 1900 Park Fair is a great value on the dining plan as well. The prices are the same as Chef Mickey's. You'll meet cooler characters in my opinion, and I think the food is pretty good. Ohana at the Polynesian is another great option. At $65 per adult and $42 per child for dinner, you get an entire Polynesian feast that is sure to leave you completely stuffed. I know this restaurant gets mixed reviews these days, but I feel like there's one thing we can all agree on when it comes to Ohana. It's a good restaurant to use the dining plan at.
Number 11, sit-down meal or try a bunch of the different booths/snacks at Epcot.
There are 4 different festivals in Epcot. the Food and Wine Festival, Festival of the Holidays, Festival of the Arts, and the Flower and Garden Festival. During these festivals, there are booths set up around the park serving different food and drinks from each country. And I feel like whether you want to eat a full sit-down meal or snack around the different food booths at the festival is going to depend on you and your party's preferences. But if it were up to me, I would say you should snack around the different festival booths. I think the festivals are a fun way to try different foods you may have never tried before and may never get the chance to try otherwise. These foods are limited and may not be back the next year, whereas the restaurants, they'll always be there. Walking around the World Showcase, hanging out with friends and family, stopping at the different booths and trying new foods, that'd be my choice.
Number 12, what are your tips for securing hard-to-get reservations?
There are some restaurants that are hard to find a reservation for. Space 220, Geo 82, Victoria and Albert's, or Via Napoli. But honestly, other than that, and maybe a few others, gone are the days where it's super difficult to find dining reservations. It is extremely rare that I'm unable to find a dining reservation, especially when I'm looking the day of or the day before. So I guess that's my number one tip. The closer you get to the date or time of the reservation you're looking for, the more availability there will be. Day of dining availability is going to be super open. In fact, I bet if you opened your phone right now and went to make a reservation for today, pretty much everything will be available. With the exception, of course, if it's a holiday or a busy Run Disney event weekend. Remember, people can modify or cancel their dining up to 2 hours before the reservation, so keep refreshing the app, keep looking, chances are something will open up day of. As long as you stay a little flexible, I have faith you'll be able to score that reservation. If not, there are websites that will help you find reservations. Some are free, like the app Stakeout or the website Mouse Dining, but some you have to pay for, like Mouse Watcher. I have always had the best luck with that one. It only costs about $5 per reservation, and it'll notify you by text when a reservation opens up, so you can quickly click the link sent to you and book it. This is actually how I got a reservation for Geo 82 on opening day. I paid $5 for alerts on Mouse Watcher, and about 5 days before opening day, I was able to snag a reservation. Now, if all else fails, most restaurants also have a walk-up list, so you can always try joining that directly on the My Disney Experience app. Or some of the signature restaurants even have a first-come, first-served bar like we talked about, so you can always try to grab a seat there.
Number 13, what are the best places to go for happy hour deals in Disney Springs?
Believe it or not, there are a handful of restaurants in Disney Springs where you can score really good happy hour deals. I'm talking discounted food and drinks, sometimes even all days of the week. If you're going to be in Disney Springs during prime happy hour times, definitely look into this because you can save yourself a ton of money. Participating restaurants include the House of Blues, Jaleo, the Edison, Terralina, Raglan Road, Wine Bar George, Paradiso 37, Stargazers at Planet Hollywood, Frontera Cocina, Eat, and Summer House on the Lake. I have personally been to happy hour at a few of these restaurants, and let me tell you, I've never been disappointed. The Edison offers a fantastic happy hour Monday through Friday from 3 to 6. They have a few food offerings that are all discounted, but the real steal here are the drink specials. You can get an $8 old fashioned during happy hour. And if that's not your thing, they also have a good selection of other mixed drinks, wines, and beers. You can also never go wrong with happy hour at Frontera Cocina, offered daily from 3 until 6 at the bar and on the back patio. House margaritas are $7, specialty margaritas are $10, select tequila is only $5, select mezcal only $6, and you could get any flights for $5 off. These are a lot of the same drinks you'll find at La Cava del Tequila and Epcot, so this is a great way to save on some of your favorite margs from in the park. Jaleo's Sangria Hour is fantastic as well. I always say this is the most underrated restaurant, and I love visiting for their Sangria Hour. Every day from 11:30 until 6 at any of the bars, their frozen sangria is $8 a glass, and their delicious regular sangria is $7 a glass. You can get great deals on some of their signature tapas, including their famous tomato bread. But my favorite happy hour is coming from Summer House. Their martini hour is so impressive. You can make a great meal out of these deals. The bottomless truffle fries are great to share with friends, but arguably the best happy hour deal in the entire world is this $5 burger. If you told me this burger was $20, I would believe you. It was that good. You have to be sitting at a bar from Monday through Friday from 3 until 6 for this martini hour menu, but man, is it worth trying to find a seat.
Number 14, what Walt Disney World restaurants can you book on the Open Table app?
A lot of people may not know this, but not all Disney dining reservations have to be made on the My Disney Experience app. Although that is the only way to book reservations for Disney-owned restaurants, a lot of the restaurants that are not directly owned by Disney also allow booking on Open Table. Open Table is a website or app where you can make dining reservations. A lot of the third-party, non-Disney-owned restaurants in Disney Springs or at the Swan and Dolphin can be found on there. These restaurants actually only put a fraction of their reservations on the My Disney Experience app, so chances are if you can't find a reservation there, check Open Table. Restaurants in Disney Springs such as Haleo, Morimoto, STK, Wine Bar George, House of Blues, Planet Hollywood, Splitsville, Summer House, The Edison, Paddlefish, Maria and Enzo's, Paradiso 37, Frontera Cocina, and The Boathouse are all available to book on Open Table. And in the Boardwalk area, you can make reservations for the Cake Bake Shop, Bourbon Steak, Il Molino, Rosa Mexicano, Blue Zoo, Amare, and Kimonos. So if you're looking for a reservation at a non-Disney owned restaurant and you can't find one, go to opentable.com and see if you can grab one there.
And number 15, best secret off-menu hack.
I dine at Disney a lot, so I've picked up a lot of secret menu hacks over the years. I'll briefly share a few of my favorites. Over at Yak and Yeti, my favorite thing to order is the ahi tuna nachos, but I always order them with the chips on the side. First, I always feel like you get more toppings that way, and second, they are so much easier to eat that way. Instead of digging around and getting all messy trying to find a chip, you can eat it more like a chip and dip situation, which also makes this dish more ideal for sharing. At the Boathouse in Disney Springs, when ordering the filet mignon sliders, they come as an appetizer in a set of 3, but did you know you can just order them individually? So if you just wanted one to try or one on the side with your meal, you can just order one single slider. You can order 2 sliders, 4 sliders, 5 sliders, however many you want, and they'll charge you accordingly. And for one of my favorite drinks on property, if you go over to Baseline Tap House in Hollywood Studios, you'll find the strawberry hibiscus soda on the menu. This is just a non-alcoholic soda, but you can add any liquor into it if you'd like. I like to add Tito's, and you can even add double Tito's for a few dollars extra. So it ends up being a great deal and a delicious drink.
Well, with that, I have officially answered 15 of your burning Disney dining questions, and I hope you're better equipped to tackle your Disney vacation. Again, if you have any more questions, drop them in the comments below. I'll try to answer as many as I can, and who knows, you may just be featured in the next video. For now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you to everyone over on Patreon. I appreciate all of your support. As always, if you enjoy honest Disney food reviews, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.